When a son who has been silently paying his family's bills for 2 years decides to stop, his father rejects him as a disgrace to the family. But when he stops helping, they begin to realize that they have lost not only financial support, but him as well. "You're an embarrassment to the whole family," my father's voice was firm, sharp. It cut through the silence like a blade. "We can't have you here when Melissa's boyfriend is coming." I was stunned. The words didn't quite register immediately. I just stood there, holding the phone in my hand, trying to make sense of what he had just said. My thoughts raced, but all I could think was that this couldn't be happening. I was just asking about the family birthday, like I had every year. Why was this different? "Are we inviting the relatives to Mom's birthday this year?" I asked, trying to keep my voice neutral. I had asked that same question every year, the same routine, the same unspoken expectations. But this year, something had changed. He hesitated, and then his voice came through the phone, colder than I had ever heard it before. "You don't need to come. Melissa's bringing her boyfriend. He's a manager. Someone important. He speaks well, he's presentable. And your job, it doesn't reflect well. It's best if you don't come." I felt my heart skip a beat. "What did you just say?" I snapped, unable to keep the tremble out of my voice. His response was even colder. "You coming home would just embarrass the whole family. If you insist on coming, don't call me your father." I just stared at the phone for a moment, as if waiting for him to take it back, to apologize, to say that this was all some terrible misunderstanding. But it never came. The line went dead. My hand was still shaking slightly as I set the phone down on the table. My heart pounded in my chest. His words echoed through my mind, over and over, like an unshakable mantra: "You would just embarrass the whole family. Don't call me your father." I stood there, feeling the weight of those words, as if the ground beneath me had shifted. It felt like the air had suddenly thickened, the walls of the room closing in. I had been the good son. The quiet one. The responsible one. But in that moment, I realized it had never been enough. I had paid their bills for the past 2 years without a word. Electricity, water, internet, all of it. Every single month. I had been silently taking care of them, without asking for anything in return. And this was how they saw me? An embarrassment? I grabbed my phone again, my fingers cold as I opened my banking app. I scrolled through the transactions, looking for the total. For nearly 2 years, I had been paying their bills, month after month, without ever bringing it up. I didn't even want to know the exact number. But there it was, $9,842.17. Nearly $10,000. Quietly spent. Never mentioned. Not once had anyone said thank you. Not once had anyone asked if I needed help. And now, this was the way they saw me? As the shame of the family? I didn't feel anger, not yet. I didn't feel sadness either. I just felt empty. Like everything I had done, everything I had sacrificed, had been for nothing. I wasn't even looking for recognition. I had just done it because it was the right thing to do. But now I knew, I had been invisible. No one had ever noticed. Not even my family. I remembered the first time I had started paying their bills. It was a casual conversation with my mom. She had mentioned how expensive everything had gotten, how their retirement income wasn't stretching far enough anymore. She'd asked if I could help, just for a little while. I had agreed, thinking it would be for a month, maybe 2. But those months turned into years. No one ever brought it up again. No one ever said, thank you. No one ever asked if I needed help. It had always been me, quietly handling everything, while they lived their lives, oblivious to my efforts. One month, I asked my mom, has Melissa helped out at all? She had dodged the question every time. Sometimes, she would say, just help us this month, Nolan. Melissa will pitch in next time. Other times, it was Melissa's helping with Dad's medical stuff. I never questioned it. I just smiled and kept paying. After all, it was my family. But now, as I stared at the total I had spent, the question began to form in my mind. What had Melissa done? She always showed up. Always smiled. She had her perfect boyfriend, her perfect life. But had she ever helped? Had she ever paid a single bill? Had she ever sacrificed a single thing? I didn't expect credit. I wasn't asking for it. But I couldn't help but wonder, if I'm the embarrassment, then who is the standard? I had paid nearly $10,000, and no one had noticed. I had quietly carried their burden, month after month, while they had gone on with their lives, never acknowledging what I had done. 2 weeks passed after that phone call. And then, on Mom's birthday, the messages started. The power's out. We have no water. Can't cook. The internet's down. Can you fix it? I didn't respond. I couldn't. But they didn't stop. The calls kept coming, relentless and urgent. They needed me. But I wasn't going to fix it this time. I had made my choice. I wasn't going to be the one to carry them anymore. I opened the banking app again. I scrolled through the transactions. The automatic payments. One by one, I tapped the payments. Electricity. Water. Internet. Each one I canceled, without hesitation. I did it calmly. Not to get even. Not for revenge. But to keep the one thing I still had left, my self-respect. The only thing they hadn't taken from me. The next day, my mom sent a message. Can you pay the internet bill? I read it without feeling anything. No anger. No surprise. Just a hollow emptiness. I didn't reply. My father called a few hours later. Then Melissa. Then my relatives. The same ones who only showed up for holidays, but felt entitled to judge. You're embarrassing your mother, they said. You've ruined the day for everyone. I didn't respond to any of them. I didn't need to. They didn't care about me. They only cared about what I could give them. The next evening, my phone buzzed again. This time, it wasn't my parents or Melissa. It was my Aunt Lauren, the only one who had ever believed in me. She was calling on video chat, and I answered, knowing she would be the only one who understood. Nolan, she said softly, her voice tinged with concern. Are you really not going to help them? I looked at her face on the screen. It felt like a lifetime ago, like I was still the boy who sat at her kitchen table, talking about life, about family. But now, everything had changed. Dad told me not to come home, I said, my voice quiet. He said if I insisted on coming, I shouldn't call him my father anymore. She fell silent. Her eyes flickered to the background. I could hear the murmurs of the party in the other room, but none of it mattered. And then, I heard the whispers behind her. Someone asked, wait, what did he just call Nolan? The realization hit me all at once. I hadn't expected this. Melissa's boyfriend was in the room. The one they had all been trying to impress. He looked at me through the screen, confused for a moment. Then, he said it. Nolan is one of the co-founders of Pacific Terra Tech, he said, his voice clear, ringing through the silence. The room went still. No one said a word. It wasn't awkward, it was just, stunned. I didn't need to say anything else. It was done. I ended the call. No words. No anger. Just silence. Later that night, I got an email from Hudson Kane, one of my employees. He said he didn't know I was Melissa's brother. And, in the end, he had ended things with her because of how she treated people. I had never expected this. But now, it was clear. A few days later, my parents showed up at my door, tired and anxious. They asked for $2,000 a month to help them out. The same people who had pushed me away, rejected me, now wanted to depend on me. I didn't say a word. I just looked at them. What about Melissa? I asked calmly. How much will she be contributing? The silence stretched. She's struggling, my father said. Her job is unstable. I nodded, slowly. If she contributes $2,000, I'll do the same. If not, I'll need a legal agreement. I want the house after you're gone. They didn't respond. They just stared at me. I stood up slowly. I think you should leave. And just like that, they left. No more words. No more apologies. 2 years have passed since that day. No calls. No messages. No birthday wishes. Nothing. I still live here. I still work. But now, I don't let myself be anyone's emotional ATM. I don't owe them anything anymore. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's that family is not where people demand your kindness and call it love. Family is where you're seen, not for what you have to offer, but for who you truly are. So, was I wrong? Was I too cold? Was I finally learning to love myself? Leave your thoughts below. I'd love to hear your thoughts.